So your Focus ST currently looks like that, launches like this, brakes like that, and corners like this, but you want to look it like this, launch like this, brake like that, and corner like this. In this video I'm going to show you how to properly tune your Focus ST and point out the typical problems it has in its stock form. I'll show the share code later in the video, but I recommend staying tuned so I can explain exactly what you need to know to master this car. First up, I'm adding some Maxon design parts. They are subtle, but they give the car a much needed aesthetic boost. I skipped the front, hood and wing, though as they fade a bit over the top for my taste. The first major performance upgrade is the tire compound. Semi-slicks are mandatory to handle the power we are adding later. Sport tires just wouldn't cut it. You'd lose too much at launch and cornering would be a mess. That's also why I've increased the tire width by 20mm. Pro tip: the front track width needs to be wider than the rear. This helps the car to turn in better and significantly reduces understeer, which is the biggest enemy of FWD cars like the Focus ST. To wrap up the section, I've installed ladder rims to reduce unsprung mass. Next, I'm going with a race clutch and transmission. This isn't just to shed weight, it massively improves shift times for the manual gearbox. A race driveline is also a nice addition. While a race diff isn't strictly necessary over a sport version, I had the budget to go all out. To fix the stopping power, I'm installing the race braking system. It's a game changer for pure braking performance and cuts another 24 kilograms off the car. Race suspension and anti-roll bars, front and rear, are total no-brainers. Since they cost very few FI points, I'd recommend them for almost every build. Finally, I use the sport weight reduction to bring the total weight down to under 1300 kilograms. To round everything off, we are hitting the power section. The race exhaust is a must-have. It improves power, weight and sounds all at once. To finish the hardware, I've added a race flywheel, valves and a race fuel system. The stats: minus 210 kilograms, plus 46 HP, and, most importantly, improved lateral Gs and much improved grip. Now for the fine tuning, starting with tire pressure. Since the front axle handles both steering and power, it heats up much faster than the rear. I've dialed in a value that works for both city circuits and tracks with long straights. For gearing in city races, you'll mostly use 2nd through 4th gear, with 1st gear only for the launch. These gears are long enough to take you well over 200 kph. Since this build focuses on cornering, I'm running more front camber for those narrow turns. The Focus ST doesn't struggle with oversteer, so I've added quite a bit of toe out for better turn-in response. I also lowered the front caster slightly. A higher value makes the car want to go straight, which is exactly what we don't want for FWD rotation. The anti-roll bars are on the softer side to help with turn-in. At this point, you should realize that there are so many ways to adjust the turn-in response for cars. The springs are relatively soft, but balanced for the car's weight. I kept them slightly stiffer to compensate for the softer ARBs and the damping setup. The ride height is higher than usual, because I don't want the car bottoming out when you're flying over curbs and sidewalks. For damping, the bump stiffness is low, while the rebound is standard. This setup keeps the car stable when jumping over roundabouts. The brakes are turned for stability when braking into a turn. It might look controversial, but for a steering wheel setup it feels just right. Finally, the differential. We want the front tires to pull you out of corners, so the values are kept low. You could use exploit values like 90 acceleration, but I prefer a clean build over abusing bugs. There you have it. I hope this guide gives you the edge you need. If you are just here for the share code, I'd still recommend you watching the breakdown to understand the logic for your own future builds. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and maybe subscribe. Drop any questions or suggestions in the comment section below. See you next time, keep the revs up high and the weight down low.